I'm Dr. Jeff Banas, and I'm going to talk briefly on fueling, or how many calories you need to be taking in for your endurance sport, whether it's the Ironman Triathlon or Marathon or half Ironman. Now, this is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make race day. You spend all this time building up your training, and then you make these stupid race mistakes that cost you your race and basically lead to GI problems. And the reason I'm posting this video right now is because this week I got 2 emails from people asking for help. One but they're both Ironman. So one basically said the second he got on the bike, he started to have GI problems, okay? And he goes, he didn't know where this came from. And the other guy said he started throwing up during the run, but he said in his email that he was trying to eat as much as possible while on the bike. When I asked the first guy about his GI problems when he got on the bike, it came out that he had this massive spaghetti dinner the night before. So first of all, before I get to actually how many calories you should be taking on during your event, one of the biggest mistakes I see is eating too much, okay? Too much food, okay? And let me ask you this. If you've done a triathlon or endurance sport, Ironman, what do those porta pods look like before the event on race day? There is a line for those porta pods. People are, crapping like crazy, right? The biggest thing that I see is you don't need this massive meal the night before, or this massive breakfast. You don't need to carb up that much, okay? You really don't need to. You're tapering down, you're racing next day, you don't need that, okay? So the biggest mistake I see is way too much food in the morning and way too much food the night before, and then next thing is way too much food during the actual event, okay? So let me go over how many calories, okay, you should be taking. Now, despite what you may read out there, your body can only handle 90 grams, or about 360 calories an hour. And that's regardless about your size. If you're a Clydesdale athlete, you sit there, oh, I want to be taking 500 or 1,000 calories an hour. No, your body cannot handle that, okay? If you're smaller, 140 pounds, the research basically says the same. This is the max limit. So when you're doing your event, this is where you want to put your number at, okay? Do not go over 90 grams of carbs or 360 calories of carbs, per hour. Your body cannot process more than that, and you're setting yourself up for GI problems if you go above that, okay? Practice, if you don't believe me, and you should practice it in training. Go out there and eat 500 calories an hour for a few hours where you're training. You're probably going to start to have some issues. Now, so now we know we can only take 90 grams or 360 calories in an hour. So now what you need to do is you need to find out how many calories are in the nutrition you're going to carry, or how many calories are in the nutrition that they're going to give you out on the race. Let me give you some examples here. Bulk Breaker has 260 calories in there. So maybe you have a couple goos, let's say a Roctane 100. So let's say you have 2 goos on your bike, 200 calories, and then you grab one Bulk Breaker. Well, you're at 460 calories right now. That's way above your limit, okay? I'm just going to have 2 Bulk Breakers. Well, you're over 500 calories now. That's above that limit. You're going to start setting yourself up for some GI problems. So it is not eat as much as you possibly can. So find out how many calories is in the nutrition of your choice. Give you some example. Your Power Bar, 240 calories. They actually say on a suggestion on your website, Power Bar is to take 1 to 2 an hour. If you're taking that's close to 500 an hour. You're setting yourself up for some problems right there. Honey Stingers, 160. So, use the 360 as your top limit, and spend a little bit of time going on and find out what they're going to have on the race, okay? See what's going to be available on the race. Do the math a little bit. If you need to, stop right there, look to see how many calories are on that before you take it in during the race. You do that, you're going to have a lot better race. I always suggest people a little bit less is better than more. Okay, meaning I'd rather go on the low side of the calories and maybe, you know, maybe bonk a little bit than have all this stuff in the stomach churning around, and except for side dishes and bloating and gas and GI problems. Nothing more frustrating when I hear someone spends a year training for an Ironman or something like that, and then they go, I had to go to the bathroom, I'm having stomach problems, and you start talking to them what they had. They had this massive meal the night before, they had this massive breakfast, and they're saying, yeah, I was doing 3 bonk breakers every hour, I don't know why I had problems. Well, holy smokes. One other thing to look into, I'm not going to talk about this a lot, search food map. Search food map, okay? Food map will give you a list of carbohydrates that basically suck the water out of your system, okay? The list of food maps is a list of foods that cause a lot of diarrhea, bloating, and gases problems. So take a little time, search food map, that's FODMAP, and you'll get a list of sugars, and carbohydrates that are known to cause these problems. And then you want to obviously avoid those race morning and the week before. So I hope that helps. Always practice this in your training. If you have any questions I could help with, just drop me email.